Mark's Gospel, verses 20 and 21. And skip down in Mark verse 32 and 33.
All right.
Right on in chapter 10 of John's Gospel, verses 19 and 20. Yeah, Mark chapter 3, verses 20 and 21. Skip down and read 32 and 33. John chapter 10, verses 19 and 20. This is the reading. And the multitude cometh together again, so that they could not so much as eat bread. And when his friends heard of it, they went out to lay hold on him. For they said, he is beside himself. And the multitude said about him, and they said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren without sleep for thee. And he answered them, saying, who is my mother or my brethren? There was a division, therefore, again among the Jews for these sayings. And many of them said, he hath the devil and is mad. Why hear ye him? Read after me again. Christ. Don't praise. To the glory of God. The exaltation of Jesus Christ. To our institute instructor, Pastor Jackson, and to our pastor, Pastor Curry, visiting pastors, and to our clergy, and the bishop family, our members, and will you pray? Thank God for this choir. I got enough sense to know the Lord's been using that. I know he did it tonight. Amen. Been running the day. I sure need your prayer.
Amen.
All right. Praise means to be absurd, distorted, foolish, mentally deficient. Something wrong with us mentally. A homemade mental problem. Crazy. That means to be insane. Mad. Overzealous. With a mental disorder. When folk are mad at you with no reason, they crazy. And it looks like in our text today that folk backed away from Jesus, for they said he had a devil in him. And to make them sure he had a devil, when his mother and father, when his mother and brothers and sisters rather, came to see him, he sounded like he had amnesia. He said, who is my mother? And who is my father? And everybody looked at him, and the Pharisees and the scribes and the potentates and members of the Sanhedrin tried to catch him. And one day they set a trap for Jesus and baited him with a woman. And he sat down in the crowd, rolled over the ground. They walked off and left him. The news got out. He's crazy. So folk to follow him. Then turn around and said, the fox got hold. Birds got him in.
All right.
He's crazy. All right. Y'all want to work with me? Now that's why I'm so crazy and they're not conscious of it. You're going to have a long way to go tonight. Big Mama used to talk about a fool that's a fool and don't even know it. he had room for rent upstairs. There was something wrong with his thinking, and he just kept on coming back, being over there, started fighting flies. Just looked like mosquitoes, gnats and bugs and wasps, and everything was always following him everywhere he went. Hitting the bats, hitting the mosquitoes. Why? You know, she didn't want to tell him he was crazy. She said, maybe we need to go see a doctor. He said, you must think I'm crazy. You know, maybe you need to see what's wrong. He said, well, now, so you let me know. I guess I will go in and talk to him at least. Kept on fighting, and then when he got to the doctor's office at the psychiatrist, he sat down out there. Lady said, what you want? He gave his name and he sat down. Kept hitting it and that. He definitely was hitting everything, and finally his time come to go see the doctor. He called his name and he went in the psychiatrist's office and he kept knocking it back. Flies, mosquitoes. The psychiatrist looked at him and said, what's wrong with you? He said, I don't know, doctor, but everywhere I go, these deadly mosquitoes. Flies follow me everywhere I go. Don't know why they follow me. The doctor said, well, don't put them on me. Crazy. Are you with me here? Blind trying to lead the blind. Are you listening to me? Well, come on, man, let's admit it. Some of the difficult sayings of Jesus troubles us too. All right. We just won't confess it, but sometimes we think he's crazy. Yeah. Y'all gonna walk with me? When we look at his moral record, and what he speaks of us, if you think of Jesus' standards for divorce, look like you sure think he's crazy. Of his instruction to the rich young ruler to sell out all he got, and then come follow him, and he ain't got nowhere to go. It sounds just like he's crazy. It's like the one to cut off an offended hand and go ahead and pluck out an eye. That means he sounds crazy. Some of the master's words can sound callous and can be particularly difficult. Listen to his lesson on reconciliations without retaliation. So if somebody slap you on the right cheek, just go ahead and offer him the left. Listen at him talking about love your enemies. Then turn around and say, let the dead bury the dead. Then he told the folk who were trying to be faithful that the harlots and the prostitutes going to heaven first. Some are hard to understand, kind of hard to accept it. And still he wants us to obey him. Whenever we read the charges of the Christian and the intoxication at Pentecost and the foolishness of the madness that was flung at Jesus and the apostolic church, is it true that a measure of the divine truth, the enthusiasm which carried men beyond and out of themselves, make a lot of folks think we are crazy? Look at the divine wisdom when set at nothing, the calculation and the valuation of this world. They see us serving a God that they said they can't see. They think we are crazy. Also the divine recklessness which threw itself upon God, and God telling us to live by faith. Justified, it is a glorious compliment, but we rarely deserve it today. For in the Word of God we find even Paul confess and then denies madness in himself. While he was mad indeed, none can suspect or accuse him of being distracted. Felix of Paul had lost his mind. Can I get a witness? You know the story. Here was a little hook-nosed Jew, a Pharisee of the Pharisee, that set leader, the celebrated teacher called Mr. Cornelia. And here he is walking up, looking at Festus and Felix, and they come talking about, boy, you got too much money to get carried away on a Jew just about your age. Don't you know that can't be so? You sit and study the Taurus. You know the proper interpretation of the old original Greek Orthodox transcript. You know that you got more sense than him. A little fella born of a virgin, God said. You know nothing to that. I talked about his stepdad. It had nothing to do with it. And you listen to him. You got more sense than that. That fella come talk about he was older than his mama. And so much he came to the earth before he was even born. You know it's something wrong with him. And you are following him. You didn't even see him know how. You must have eaten too much and on that way. You did not get home. Something happened to you and you hit the ground and you asked a question, and before you shut up, you answered your own question. You are thou, Lord. And then you show up, lost your mind, boy. You went on down to the blind man and you thought you got your sight and slipped off into the Arabian desert. And on the side of the city limit that you was closed for alteration. And after 3 years you broke out the city limit and said, I'm opening up on the new man. Crooked, something wrong, crazy. Are you going to pray with me? We are converted. Some people think we lost our mind. When Festus texted Paul and told him he was mad, Pilate his long since decided who was the madman, Paul or Festus. Satan of the Satan. The truth here stands opposed to falsehood and soberness to insanity. And if we look at the word of reality and reasoning, and we can see that it's the sinner mad, not the sinner. And this was not the first time such a great charge had ugly charge had been leveled against our Lord. Charges like mental derangement or just plain crazy had been leveled at Jesus before. Come with me and let's look at the popular error concerning Jesus. And Jesus would not stop so much as to eat meat bread. His apostle and the crowd said he was beside himself. Church dedication was strange to the 12. This rendered the word ecstasy, to throw out the position, to displace, to amaze, to throw into wonderment. I mean, where the preachers, the classic Greek, use this word for the act of driving one out of his senses. So they all said that Jesus was completely out of his mind. Dr. Bruce holds that this means they thought that he was in a state of unhealthy incitement which bordered on the line of insanity. His friends thought that he was absorbed in the work to the extent that he was endangering his health because his mind was crooked. So benevolence, they went out of the house to bring Jesus away from the crowd to see maybe if he gets some rest, he'll come out all right. Meantime, the Pharisees and the Herodians who been on destroying Jesus probably had sent to Jerusalem for some help to tell his folk, you better come get him. He done cracked up. Are you going to help me? It was at this time that the scribe which came down from Jerusalem began to criticize Jesus too. these scribes, who was regarded as experts in the law, proposed to give an opinion as to the nature of Jesus' miraculous work. They said, well, he has Beelzebub, and by the prince of the devil, he casted out demons. Now get this, if you hear me tonight. From Mark's account alone, one might infer that the scribes was joining with those who said that Jesus was bordering on the line of insanity, and they went one step further and said that he was in ally with the devil. But I hear Jesus making it clear to us that division all the time is disaster. Jesus just dismissed the nonsense that was brought against him of him being in league with the devil and he and the devil on the same team. And I heard Jesus saying a house divided against itself cannot stand. Accusation is self-refuting, for any power divided against itself destroys itself. You see, we as a people, I don't mean to get off on this, but we as a people kept in trouble until the boy told us not to ride the fuss, who was a gospel preacher, and we come to the conclusion that if unpreached Americans couldn't ride together, they'd walk together. That old song the folk used to sing from the plantation days that said, walk together, children, and don't you be worried, because there's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Come to the conclusion that divided we'll fall, but together we can stand. Together we'll get anything done. Peter and John walked up to the temple, and the crippled boy went in church with them, leaping and shouting and jumping for joy, because the preachers, smelling like sheep, walked up to him and went into church together. Holy Ghost didn't fall out of heaven on the birthday of the church until the folk in the upper room got together. Can I get a witness? All right. If the church gonna move forward, I hear the Bible suggest how can two walk together except they be agreed. This sermon talks about a spiritual pedestrian. We may share it for the week's gone, but Enoch came to the conclusion that I can go to heaven with God if we walk together. Division is the disastrous. Can I get a witness? The devil, Jesus suggests, not standing by himself. Are you going to break it in? This is sad and true, for with the state, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. The divided church is powerless. The divided community is joyless. The divided home is prayerless. The divided Christian movement is useless. We all have to stay together. Can I get a witness? Whether the division lies in deliberate hypocrisy, in conflict of the flesh with the spirit, or in mental uncertainty about committing oneself to Jesus Christ, still the double-minded man is always unstable, and he ain't going nowhere. No wonder they call Jesus crazy. He offered a love for a kingdom and a vocation that integrated life, disrupted force under the wilderness of mastery, for dividedness always spelled disaster. Can I get a witness? They charged that they had Jesus was crazy. They said he had the devil in him, but a hand said a house divided against itself cannot stand. Are you going to help me? Men and women have been all out for good, but they've been called mad in the church. Well, I think that you ought to let the redeemed of the Lord ought to set so. You hear what I'm saying? Some of us get excited when we go yonder to social events and to some motor car racing or to some golf club or to some flying thing or to some prize fight or to some wrestling fool. We get a lot of enthusiasm about enterprises, but when it comes down to the love of God, we set like one leader. Don't know how to say amen. Somehow say you've been born again. A believer is going to say so. My old pastor he gonna do. But when the clock struck 11, he picked up the scroll and started talking about it. My eyes was a fountain. He spoke into the natural. And when the church was out of the gate, the minister said, he said, boy, I thought you quit. He said, I tried, but you go close to Bishop time, that thing was like fire. Sometimes we got too much sense for the Lord. Are you going to pray with me? Others couldn't get near him, and some folks said, well, Jesus is just crazy. But I come out and tell you that Jesus knows what he's doing. When James and Joseph and Judas and Simon, Jesus' brother, didn't believe in him, and when Mary, his mama, when all of them come to ask for him and wanted to find out when he come out there, Jesus, they thought he had a cracked brain. Fanatic and Wilson and Whitfield and others wrote about it. They said the unlanguished men of the world who stand up for God, John the man crack. How the truth is that a crazy world in which we live need to know that Jesus want to let us know that our Father may be the Father, but he don't have to be our friend. Can I get a witness? Brother or sister and brother can be in a house, but they don't have to be born again in the same family. The few described Jesus was irregular. You gonna help me say that? I'm trying to skip over some of this because I've been already standing here a little bit too long. A man drops a remark which cannot be easily erased, who thinks somehow I got too much here. Jesus has lost his mind. Let me just back up here and say, how come they thought he was crazy? First of all, they thought he was crazy because Jesus walked off and left security. Secondly, they thought he was crazy because Jesus walked off and ignored safety. Thirdly, they thought he was crazy because Jesus completely ignored society. Now listen to what I'm saying. He didn't worry about security. He didn't worry about his safety. He didn't worry about the society. Y'all got that? Well, I think you can close if you should. When I look at security, the one thing that most people in the world want mostly anything else is just security. They think of jobs and positions where there are few material and financial risk and possibility. Jesus had left no doubt a flourishing fishing business. He walked off from the carpenter shop where his stepdaddy had taught him how to be a good carpenter. He was walking off with no forward address and didn't know anywhere where he was going. The man walked off from his job, and not only did he walk off from his job, he told Peter, James, and John, who looked like they were scientists of the sea, to drop your nets and come on and follow me. One of them got bold enough to ask him, where are you going, Jesus? And I heard the Lord say, it's none of your business. You just come on and see. Can I get a witness? That suggests to me that he walked off and left his security. And then Jesus didn't worry about safety. Most people tend all the time to play it safe. They're more concerned with the safety than any other course of action that moral quality can present. Rightness and its wrongness, a course of action which involves risk, is something from which they instinctively shrink. Jesus was already on the way to a head-on collision with the orthodox leaders of his day. There are certain people that you can't do for a man a great deal of harm to fool with. The week the state convention supposed to have a contract out on me, and read some of the fellows from the national family said that I could get further in the national convention if I didn't talk so much. They don't like me looking in the vice president's face and telling him I don't worry and I don't run in behind and I don't about ownership and all this was going on. Can I get on here? I'm not listening to me. I'm bothered about what people say. Are you going to play me here? Because you see, you see, I said over and over, the God outside can sit down in heaven with his feet on earth and still hold the world in his hand. I'm not worried with me here. I'm not worried about society. It's all right for me to say you got a one-track mind. But Big Mama said it's all right to have a one-track mind as long as the mind is on the right track. Did you hear what I'm saying? Texas had a new star of another little society of his own, and that made them call him crazy, because you see, it was a very queer society. There was some fishermen, and there was some reformed tax collectors, and there was some fanatic nationalists. They were not the best kind of people whom any ambitious man would particularly want to know. And no one that looked like he was crazy. They certainly were not the kind of people who would be any good to a man who was set on a profitable career. No sensible man, if you please, must have been thinking would have picked a crowd of friends like the one Jesus picked. It was definitely not the kind of people a beautiful-minded man would get mixed up with. That's why I said, and they said, he must be crazy. But by his action, Jesus had made it clear that the three laws by which men try to organize their lives meant nothing to him. He ignored security. He wasn't worried about safety. And he didn't pay no attention to society. Some of us always wondering what the people gonna say. Can I get a witness? I know all the folks will be kicked up and everything else, but the only thing to keep them from being what they really want to be, they worry about what the people gonna say. You hear me now? They come out from their doctrines of vices, and they look to the left and they look to the right, but somebody ought to tell them they ought to look up, because you see the God who sits high and looks low. He's running them all the time. Y'all not listening to me. Very surprising that many people, included some of us, that they contemplate the great boldness and unconventionality of Christ, because he looked like he was crazy. He was obviously unbalanced. A man who takes such an interest in unbalanced people must be unbalanced himself. A man of drawn to practical psychiatry, we say in our own kind way, because they need a psychiatry themselves. Are you going to think with me? Jesus, like Paul, was willing to be the scorn of the earth, a spectacle to the world, and a scandal to the cross. Look at his track record. He had no great famous organization. His famous was unstable, uncertain, undependable, and disappointing. You have to follow him. He must be crazy. Even if he himself admitted, he knew ingratitude, he knew rejection, he knew misunderstanding, he knew betrayal, and all of the psychological laws of human development said that Jesus should have lived and died a judgmental, a frustrated, a critical, an angry, an unbelieving, a cynical, a rebellious, a violent prone, a radical deprived, an emotional militant, a hatred revolutionary death. And here he is, wanting us to follow him. He must be crazy. The fact is that he lived and died in poverty. He had no home to call his own. He had no insurance policy of his own. He had no social security card of his own. He had no retirement plan of his own. He had no performance medical in order to raise enough money to pay his tax. And you don't want us to follow him? He must be crazy. Are you going to hear me? The next thing he left behind him only one simple robe and at a cheap price to entice the gamblers and the soldiers to gamble for at the foot of the cross. He's the same one that said the fox got holes and blood got nest, and I ain't got nowhere to stay. He's spending years without encouragement and comfort of companionship of a me to follow him. And instead at the public trial, he would try us to deny his deity and to withdraw his blaspheming statement and clear up the confused mind of the people who follow him to believe in him and to visit the earth. And he wanted me to follow him. He didn't have enough power. The devil thought to turn bread to stone and wouldn't off the mountain so he wouldn't go to the cross. His brother, them folk put crown on his head and he wanted me to follow him. He's the same one that wouldn't fight back. He didn't have but one weapon in the crowd, and Peter cut off the man's ear and he stooped down and stuck it back home, and he wanted me to follow him. He picked out Judas for a treasure and told him to his face, "He who gets in the ditch with me is the one that's going to let me down." And then still hung around till the police come running. And when they cut him, he tried him 5 times in 4 courts and didn't give him justice in neither one. He never said a murmur in the word. And they put another robe on him and they put a crown of thorns around his head, and then they started him up Golgotha's hill, and then they took a black man that was coming from the wrong direction and stuck him under the other end of the cross, and I heard Simon saying to him, "Jesus, oh, If you're here, God bless you. Might be somebody here tonight. You're here? Yeah, right now. Wow, the Lord is running on in your face.